Hi, Julie here with paperbeadcrafts.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to make these little keychains. I am calling them the Paper Bead Dangles keychain, and my website will have the link to the pattern instructions for these. The template is not free, but it is available on my website, so you can get one that's printable, where you print it on your printer, print it out, and cut it, layer it with other paper, and cut it out that way. Or you can use your machine cutter if you have one, like a Pazzles or a Brother Scan and Cut might work. And there are other ones like the Silhouette Cameo. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make these. Basically, it is one of those dangle type of keychains with the little chain thing. It's not an actual chain. Let me show you an example. It's got the little solid type wiggly flexible chain here. It's not links. And it's got this little clasp thing that opens up and closes, and that's how you put your keys in there. And it's got two large jump rings. This one you actually do take off in order to get this large bead on here. So let me show you how this is done. Set those aside for now. You're going to need the instructions, which are available at paperbeadcrafts.com. The instructions are free. And you'll need one sheet of cardstock, which will actually make 3 of the keychains if you go ahead and want to max out your paper. Otherwise, your extra strips, you can use them to make earrings or whatever. You're going to need the cutting template. It's 11 inches long and 5/8 inch at one end and 1/4 inch at the other end. This is what the strips will look like. These I actually hand drew. I printed a large sheet of paper, did the design on both ends, and then I used my machine cutter to cut it out. And I actually did scan this into the computer before I cut it up, so perhaps in the future that'll be available as a free bead sheet. Okay, and then you're going to need your bead glazing supplies, whatever you like to use. I use PVC petrifier and liquid laminate right now, but when the liquid laminate's gone, I'm switching over to vibrance. You're going to need like that dangle keychain like I showed you to make your keychains, like this one. And you're going to need 2-inch silver colored head pins, 3 for each keychain. That's these here. You're going to need three of those for each keychain. You're going to need some end caps, and for the ones I'm going to demonstrate today, I'm using little tiny blue ones, but these blue ones came from this set, and this set was actually on a bracelet that was elasticized from my Fire Mountain Gems. They come in different colors and different sizes. These are 8mm. And so I'm using the blue ones today for the keychain I'm making on the camera. You're going to need size 6 E-beads. I actually like to use the E-beads as opposed to the Miyukis, because the head of the pin does not go through these, but it could go through the Miyuki's seed beads. But these work great, and I'm using the clear to go with the blue today. I think that'll look good. But if you can see on this picture, and on like this one, I used red rocaille. I think that's how they're pronounced, not sure. But they're the clear red ones. And I used the little pinkish colored end caps for these. And like for the green ones, I used an opaque green color E-bead, and then the green end cap. And you're going to need, for your tools, you're going to need 2 paper bead rollers. Today I'm using my slotted ones, 3/16 and 5/64, or number 1 and number 5 actually. The smallest one and the largest one. That's what you're going to need for your paper bead rollers. You're going to need white glue, and I dropped my glue palette on the floor. And so you're going to need a glue palette, you're going to need a toothpick. This is how I like to apply my glue onto the paper. You're going to, for tools that you're going to need for actually assembling this, you're going to need your wire cutters, you're going to need needle nose pliers, and you're going to need like flat nose pliers, or you could also use chain nose pliers. That doesn't really matter which one you decide to use. Okay, and let's see, what else do you need? Yeah, I actually have more samples of other keychains I've made with this pattern. And so you're going to roll up your bead, your strips here. Let me show you how I did the the large hole bead one, because that one requires 2 strips. Okay. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to put your glue in your palette, and you're going to glue 2 of them together at the very end. And you're going to match these up. Just go ahead and put a 1/4 inch glue at the top, and keep, make it solid, keep it all together, let it dry, and you're going to use the 3/16 inch when you roll this one up. So I'm going to set this aside, let it dry. It only needs to dry for like 5 minutes. Then you're going to use the 5/64 inch bead roller to roll up the other one. So basically just slide that in there and roll it up as you normally would. And I'm sure you've seen me roll up beads before, but for those of you who've never tried bead rolling, that's why I'm doing it on the camera, so you can see how it's done. And if you can use a toothpick for this, but I highly recommend that you get the paper bead rollers. Makes making paper beads a whole lot easier. It's definitely worth every cent. And you can get the paper bead rollers from my website, paperbeadcrafts.com. There's a link right on the front page that takes you to all of the links where my paper bead rollers are available. I have them on Amazon, Etsy, and my own website, where the payments are processed through PayPal. And so that takes care of that bead. And I have a bunch made. Okay, now enough time has gone by, so I can go ahead and I'll roll the double one. Set that paper bead roller down and use my 3/16. Use it just the same way. And it's important that these 2 ends meet and they're lined up perfectly together. And then just roll it up just like you did the other one. And this will end up almost being round. A nice fat bead that goes on the top. And if you need to loosen it up a little bit to get it lined up again, just go ahead and do that. And hang on to it. Apply pressure while you roll it to keep it together. And then once you get to the end, hold it with your index finger. Apply some glue to the first strip. Go ahead and finish rolling it. Try to make it as centered as possible. And the other strip is going to pop up. And so please expect that. And then you're going to put the glue on for the second strip, and you're going to continue rolling. And that's how you do a double layered. If you did a triple layered, it would be 3 pop-ups that you'd end up with. So with that rolled up, and you pull it off your tool, and then you can adjust it a little bit. That's why I only had you put glue at the very end, so you can adjust it if you need to. And that one's ready to go, and then I'll roll up these, and those will be ready to go. Then the next step is to go ahead and glaze them. And I have some here that are all glazed, but I also wanted to point out that this is how I glaze them. I string them all on my 50-pound fishing line, and I use crimp beads at each end. I form a loop and then I crimp it, and that keeps it together, and I'm able to hang it up onto my paper bead drying rack. I have a brand new paper bead drying rack that I'm using right now. I'm testing it. It's one that I made, and I'll do a video on it later. Believe it or not, it's not like any others that I've seen online. It's completely different. I'm using a cooling rack for cookies. That's all I'm saying. I'll tell you about it later. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assemble one of these on camera. So I'm going to take this apart. I pull the crimp bead right off, and I throw that away. This one, the bead came out pretty good. Even though I use it as a waste bead, it still works out pretty good. I can clean that out and use it for another project. But the next beads are pristine. They're perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this over here. Put 3 of them in here. Well, actually, I'm just going to take them all off. Yes, you are going to end up with extra beads. You can use them for earrings or whatever else you want. You can actually get 3 of these keychains off of one sheet of paper with 3 beads left over that you can use for whatever you need to. And I decided I wanted 2 keychains from each sheet of paper. That's why I have so many beads left over. Okay, so the next step is you want to grab a hold of your big bead here. And one tip that I can give you is if you end up with glue inside of your bead, these 2 are pretty clean. But what you can do is put, if you have a size 4 or a 5/32 bead roller, you can stick it in the end and clean it out. But for now, I'm just going to use the 5/64. Just clean it out a little bit. That way it'll fit. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this large jump ring off. And the way I do that is I grab a hold of either the flat nose pliers or the chain nose pliers, and I open up the jump ring like this. I twist it, and I take that off, set it down, because I'm going to put it right back on. I take one of the large hole beads, stick this end through it, and you might have to fight with it. It will fit. I've made a whole bunch of others, but it might take some coaxing. So just keep on working on it, pushing it in until it comes out the other end. And yes, it does work. For some reason, it's just being stubborn. All right. This is where I want to make sure that I get that hole open. And I don't have my 5/32 bead roller right handy. Okay. Let's try that again. These do fit. As you can see, I've made several. Just a matter of sliding it through enough so that you can grab a hold of it with your fingernails. Push it through, push it through. Come on, it works. I know it works. It's kind of funny. Every time I do a video, I end up having trouble with one of my items that I make on the camera, but the rest of them are perfect. Go figure, huh? Murphy's Law. I don't know why I'm having such trouble with this one, but keep pushing it through. They do absolutely fit. And if you noticed, I'm not putting a grommet inside of these beads because, believe it or not, I've tried it with the grommet and there's no way I can get this through. Let's try it through the other way. If it won't go one way, maybe it will go the other way. Oh, come on. Well, let's try the other one. I'll ream that one later. Okay. It wants to be stubborn. Okay, so now I have my 5/32 paper bead roller, and I'm going to stick that in there, and I'm going to ream it for all it's worth. Come on. For some reason, this one wants to be stubborn. Okay, so I got that in there, and I'm pushing it through, working it and pulling it out. Okay, so let's try that again. Whoops. Where did I put that? There it is. Okay, now it should go through. No problem. There we go. Look at that. Okay, see that little trick? It works every time. Then you're going to pick up your jump ring, and you're going to put this back on it, your keychain back on it. Hang on to it. Make sure it doesn't come off. Okay, then once you have the other 3 on, you can set that aside. Work on that other parts for now. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to grab this, And you're going to put some of these in here. Close that up so it don't spill everywhere. You're going to put one of these beads on first, the little E beads. Then you're going to put the bead cap on, making sure that the cup is facing toward the bead. And then you're going to put a bead on. And that covers up that little blue that you see on the end. Okay, then you're going to put another bead cap on. And then you're going to put another of these beads on. So it looks like that. And then you're going to do a wrapped loop on this. So you pull out your needle nose pliers, and this is the way I've been doing wrapped loops for this one. I push this down across the top, then I turn it, and then I pull this back up and over and continue on. So that way I have it like a letter P with it sticking out. And then I just go ahead and twist this around the stem. And if you need to, you can use your flat nose pliers to finish that off. Or your chain nose pliers works also. It only needs to go around once or twice maybe. And then you can trim it off with your wire cutters. And then what you're going to do is you're going to work that in a little bit more so it doesn't poke anybody. And then you're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, you got 1, 2, and 3 of them all ready to go. What you're going to do next is you're going to go ahead and put them onto your jump ring right here. And I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers and grab a hold of that. And then I'm going to put my little charms on here. 1, 2, and then 1 more. And we're going to close that up. And you're going to twist it, not pull it. So you're going to twist it until it clicks. Yeah, click, click, click. Right. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. And that keychain is done. I have a few more to make, and the pink ones are probably going to be mine. But there it is. And if you like what you see and you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you want this free project, just go to paperbeadcrafts.com and look for it in the library. And again, just a reminder, the template for the cutting template is not free, but the instructions do tell you how big your strips need to be. And you can also purchase the cutting template for $1.95, whether it's for the machine cutting, it's a separate purchase for the machine cutting files, or the PDF files, the PDF file. Actually, I can show you what the cutting template looks like if you download the one that's printable. And you might be able to see the lines on it. Basically, it's a grayish dotted line, and it's, if you print them out yourself and layer it on your cardstock, you want to print it out in borderless mode, so that way your lines will go from top to bottom. And that's it for today. And go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this video, and until next time, thank you and have a great day. Goodbye.